So if you've booked a moving company and now they've canceled last minute, don't panic. I know this can be hard. The situation can be nerve-wracking, but there's a way forward. So let's review the path to rectify this situation step by step. Now, before looking for your next options, I'd like you to write down or collect your move details for quick reference. These are things like your origin, where you're moving from, your destination, where you're going to, the move date with any flexibility that you have in that, and then the weight or cubic feet of your shipment. That should have been supplied by the previous mover. And also your itemized inventory, again, supplied by your previous mover. So do you have those handy? All right, then let's get to work on solving this problem. Number one, be vigilant for moving scams, because people are most vulnerable to moving scams when they're in a hurry. Now, I know you're probably stressed out if you're in this situation, but know that it can get worse if you end up being scammed. So take the steps now to quickly educate yourself and avoid scammers as you do the following. Now, to help, we've got an article that's pretty in-depth about avoiding a moving scam, and I would recommend you go to our blog to check that out. But here are the brief main points on how you can avoid being scammed. First, avoid a move broker, unless you have no other choice. Move brokers will collect payment and reassure you that they can find you a mover. Okay, well, the problem is they often hire a low-budget mover who can put you in the same situation again. Now, even if they don't, move brokers are usually known to underestimate the scope of moves to show you a lower price up front, but when the actual mover arrives and then sees what needs to be moved, you have to pay a higher fee to reflect the actual cost of your move. This process adds a lot of stress, and you've already got enough. It will be tempting, but it's better to know the actual cost of your move up front and avoid all of the stress and problems that brokers can inadvertently or intentionally create by avoiding them altogether. Next, research the mover before you hire them. Now, how long have they been in business? How many reviews from other customers do they have? Has anyone you know ever used them or heard of them? There are many scam movers who exist for mere months before disappearing and then showing up again under a new name. So history, longevity, verifiable customers, and an online presence help point towards more reputable companies. And lastly, avoid deposits, because scammers want large deposits before they load, which you will not likely get back when they don't show up or when they steal your belongings. Now, if your mover needs a deposit to hold capacity, it should be modest. Deposits of 25% or more are definite red flags. Number two, start the search for other moving companies. Now, to start, be prepared. This step will require quite a few phone calls, and you may want to enlist a few family members to help call other companies to get this done quickly. Now, when you call, begin the conversation by letting the moving company know that you're in a last-minute move situation. Tell them when you need to move and your flexibility. And then after that, you can give them your inventory list if they think they can service your dates. That'll help shorten that phone call up if they can't. Now, be aware that each mover might want to collect their own inventory list to make sure they're comfortable with the price they're offering you. And in the end, this will take quite a few calls and time. If you're moving locally, you're likely to find someone who can help you more quickly. The further away you're moving, though, the more calls you'll need to make, because fewer licensed movers can provide interstate transportation and their capacity is going to be more constrained. Now, number three, increase your flexibility by any means possible. Now, while calling moving companies, you should also start looking at options for your moving timeline and any creative move solutions to increase your flexibility around when and how movers could service you. In the end, it's drivers and trucks going from your origin to your destination that are the significant constraints that moving companies have. So given these constraints, any flexibility that you have might help you match up better with a mover. Now, here are a few examples that we've seen to help work around this kind of a situation. Number one, could a mover pick up and store your belongings until they could ship them? Now, many movers can do a local pickup and then store your belongings until they deliver them. If you're moving locally, this might not really help, because delivering your belongings to storage might not be much different than delivering them to your home, but it's still good to ask the mover if they think it can help get you picked up. However, this is a really good possibility if you're moving long distances, since truck capacity going to your destination, that's the biggest holdup in moving your belongings across borders or state lines. In storage, at least your belongings are ready to be picked up as soon as that capacity becomes available. Now, number two, can your home closing or lease end be moved at all? Often you can work out some extra time with buyers of your home or your landlord. It's not always possible. but it will usually cost extra money, and even a few days extension might give you a flexibility that you need to match up with a mover who can help you. So consider it. Number 3, can you move your belongings to somewhere less constrained by time? Well, this might involve renting a truck from a home improvement store or a truck rental facility and moving items yourself to a storage unit, or maybe even the home of friends or family until movers can pick them up. It's going to be expensive and frustrating, but if all other options have failed, it at least works to buy you some time. And then number 4, hang in there. I'm sorry you're in this situation. I know how painful it can be. I've worked personally with many friends and people calling me to help them through this. I walk them through the same list, and if Bailey's can help, we're always willing. We serve more customers who come to us from this situation than we like. It's one of the reasons we're so passionate about teaching our customers more about the moving process and how to avoid common pitfalls. Now, lastly, you might also be wondering, how does this even happen? I mean, how does a moving company cancel a move at the last minute? Okay, that's a fair question. And it typically results from a moving company promising you things that didn't match reality. For example, promising you a pickup when they didn't know how many trucks they had or how many drivers or crew were really available. It's most common during busy times of the year. I mean, moving companies are full of people who can make mistakes just like any other company. And it can happen to any moving company. Still, this scenario is more common among newer moving companies with less defined processes and procedures that help avoid these kind of pitfalls. However, whether the movers will cancel your move or deal with it internally is a crucial division among moving companies. Most moving companies with a long history in business got that way by not canceling customers. They dealt with the capacity constraints and found solutions, and sometimes those cost more money. But reputable movers make canceling a move the absolute last possible option that is rarely used. The most surefire way to avoid your move being canceled last minute is to hire a long-standing reputable company that is upfront, honest, and forthcoming about potential challenges down the road. Now, any moving company will have capacity problems at various times, but what they do for you when it occurs is what counts.